What is up, guys? Welcome back to the movie channel. Oh,
movie channel.
And we're in a different format to normal because today we're going to start something new. Every time we react to a movie, we're going to react to, if there is a video about it, things you didn't know or things you missed, whatever is on YouTube. The only one we got for Princess Bride is 7 things you probably didn't know about a Princess Bride. We literally watched it the other day for the first time.
Yep.
It should be out on the channel now.
Yeah, before you see this.
Before you see this, we haven't recorded this. We don't know if it's on the channel yet. It's definitely not as we record it. But it'll be on the channel 3 days or 4 days before you see this. And then we're going to follow up every movie we do with one of these. It kind of gives you guys more consistent content because it's a bit easier for us to record as well. And it kind of follows on every movie. Reaction. Oh, something we missed. This one is probably you don't know. I prefer the ones which you think you missed.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, so I don't know how good this one is going to be to start off. But other ones will be better. We're going to, retrospectively, we're going to go back and do Shawshank.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump, assuming there is, we haven't actually checked. And stuff like 300, if there is as well, John Wick. So we're all going to go back and expect to do these versions for the videos. And are you ready to get into it?
I am.
7 things you and I probably didn't know about the Princess Bride. What we got?
Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya.
I love this book.
You killed my father.
Now I kill you.
Prepare to die.
In just a couple of weeks, The Princess Bride will celebrate the 30th.
We literally only watched it 2 days ago. Everyone's gonna
mess that up.
Yeah, being as I was debating in my head, I thought, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. And when I said it, I was like, oh, I fucked it up. Everyone's going to be so bad. I'm so sorry.
30th anniversary of its release. Just another gem from 1987 that is way too beloved for us to pass up. But considering how much you guys were into our last episode on Spaceballs, we figure you guys aren't sick of the nostalgia just yet. So here are 7 things you didn't know about The Princess Bride.
Okay.
Probably.
What?
Sure, The Princess Bride is a super famous movie classic now, but that didn't spare it from being in development hell for so long that William Goldman, who wrote the book and the screenplay, was convinced the film would never get made.
Oh, wow.
Inconceivable.
At one point, he even bought the rights to his own book back because the screenplay had been sitting around not getting made for a dozen years. Norman Jewison was attached to direct at one point. Boom, bonus thing.
Look who knows so much, yeah?
And even after Rob Reiner was on board to direct and they were a week away from starting principal photography in England, it still almost didn't happen because they hadn't secured the financing to make the movie.
Oh, wow.
It only came through at the absolute last minute before the cast and crew headed to London. In other words, it's basically a miracle that The Princess Bride ever got made at all, let alone turned out as great as it did.
Almost never happened.
Wow.
Development hell and financing weren't the only challenges that The Princess Bride faced. Nailing the casting was critical, and if some had had their druthers, we would have had a very different movie.
Okay.
Inconceivable.
For one, Fezzik was almost played by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What?
Well, that's
Though William
different.
Goldman had always written the part with Andre the Giant in mind, ironically, in the 70s, Arnold was way more gettable than Andre. Andre was busy with his pro wrestling career, whereas Arnold was actually interested in the role early on.
Oh, okay.
But by the time they finally got around to making the film, Arnold had become way too famous. And by that, I mean he'd become way too expensive. They even offered the role to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at some point, but he was too busy with the NBA. With Andre being over 7 feet tall and some 500 pounds, it was pretty clear that no one else on Earth could really have played that part.
What a beast.
being the biggest and the strongest. I don't even exercise.
Arnold may be 6'2", but he looks tiny compared to Andre. That other super tall guy is Will Chamberlain, by the way. Andre was so big that once, when he got pneumonia as a young man, he lost 100 pounds in 3 weeks.
Wow.
You've got to be absolutely massive to not only lose that much weight in just a few weeks, but to bounce back from it.
Yeah.
Sadly, Andre the Giant passed away at just 40.
Oh, it's a shame he passed away, but I didn't realize how big he actually was until we just did the Arnold comparison. That's mad. And again, Will Chamberlain, who I know of basketball, just shows how tall he was as well. But he's a beast.
He is.
Wow, boy, what?
Was that much weight in just a few weeks, but to bounce back from it. Sadly, Andre the Giant passed away at just 46 years old in 1993.
Too young.
And with those super sad bonus things, let's move on. All that wrestling in the 70s and 80s wasn't the best thing for Andre the Giant's back, which made some of the stunts on set a lot trickier to do. Take this scene where Wesley fights Fezzik. They actually had to use a stunt double for this part where Carrie Elwes jumps onto his back because Andre simply could not perform the stunt. It would have been excruciating. In every wide shot where Wesley is on Fezzik's back, they use the double. And if you look closely, you can tell the double was significantly smaller than Andre was. Meanwhile, for the close-up shots from the front with Wesley hanging on his back, they had to devise 2 special ramps for Elwes to stand on so that he wasn't really putting any of his weight on Andre.
Oh, that's mad, isn't it?
You will have when you awake. But in the meantime, rest well dream of large women.
And here, when he catches Buttercup, they had to have her jump from just a foot or two above the frame, and they had Andre leaning against a board to absorb the impact when he catches her.
Wow.
You can even see the board behind him.
I was gonna say, I didn't see a board.
We mentioned earlier that The Princess Bride was shot entirely in Europe, except for one shot, specifically this shot.
As you wish.
Rob Reiner didn't like the way he directed Peter Falk in the original take, so they redid that one line as a pickup back in LA.
Wow.
Once you know that, it does stand out as slightly off from the rest of the scene. So, you know, sorry I ruined that for you, I guess.
I
Moving on.
need to go back and watch that bit now.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Here's the thing about the ROUSs.
Rodents of unusual size? I don't think they exist.
Oh, by the way, you guys may have seen, if you haven't watched the reaction, Chance today, listen, I was speaking to him today because he's editing it, said that your reaction's hilarious to that, apparently.
Is it?
Apparently, yeah, I mean, you're used to stuff like that, aren't you?
Yeah.
But apparently it's hilarious, so go and check it out.
The sounds they're making, that's the director, Rob Reiner.
Guess
He
he's
looped
making
all
it.
the sounds while in post, and then they ran his noises through harmonizers and added effects to get the unique sound they have in the film.
Oh,
Reiner
wow.
nearly lost his voice creating the bass sounds for the ROUSs, only to find out that the sound engineer had forgotten to push
Almost
record.
lost his
So
voice.
he had to
Does
do
it
it
even
all
count?
over again.
Inconceivable!
That's mad.
Inconceivable is right. I mean, the sound dude had one job. Next thing.
Got to 50!
Andre the Giant had his back issues, but he wasn't the only one working through some intense pain on set. In this scene, Cary Elwes was barely able to walk because he'd been in a dune buggy crash the day before, which nearly
What?
broke his ankle. If you look closely, you can
Wow.
see how carefully he's walking, and when he lowers himself to the ground, he does it in a way that avoids putting any weight on his busted ankle.
Yeah.
Then, when he has to get back up, he basically does a one-legged squat type of
Oh,
deal
yeah.
to protect the injured side. Elwes insisted on going through with the scenes they'd planned for
Wow.
that day, even though Rob Reiner had
Couldn't have
wanted to
flipped.
figure out a way to work
No
around
clue.
this still fresh injury. What a trooper. And what a last thing we're about to get into right now.
You could die too, for all I care.
Segway.
Let's do one more real quick.
Let's wrap up with the good old-fashioned Easter egg. Rob Reiner convinced Mark Knopfler of Dire Straits to do the music for The Princess Bride, but Knopfler only agreed to do it on one condition, that they pay him.
Inconceivable! You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Well, I guess it was technically two conditions, because he also demanded that Reiner find a way to have the hat he wore in This Is Spinal Tap appear somewhere in the movie.
Okay.
And there it is, on the lamp in the grandson's, aka Fred Savage's bedroom. Okay, I guess Reiner sort of took the easy way out by putting it in there instead of finding a way to put it somewhere in
Imagine.
Humperdinck's castle, but at least he held up his end of the deal. That's it for us today, but we've got some leftover things we didn't have time for today. So if you guys do want a part 2, hit the thumbs up, and we will do as you wish.
That's good, wasn't it?
It was good. Some of those things I would never have clicked on.
Yeah, but sprain my ankle, just like, I mean, this is a bit different to things you missed. But it's like I say, it's didn't know, isn't it? Like the ankle thing, it's actually noticeable when you point it
Yeah,
out.
when you point out.
The board thing, I don't know. I didn't see
I
the
don't know
board.
about the
I
board.
didn't see that. But I don't know about that. Smash that if you enjoy, guys. Smash that subscribe. I think we're going to enjoy this little off series from the movies because we get to a movie and then learn about it a little bit more
Yeah.
after as well. Because we get so many comments like, "Oh my god, you miss this! Oh my god, you miss this!"
Yeah,
This should hopefully clear a few things up at least.
definitely.
Smash that like button, guys. Smash the subscribe button. What should we do?
Have a fantastic day.
And we'll see you, legends, in the next one. Peace.